Okay, Windfield, thank you for the interview.
For sure, yeah. My pleasure. My name is Windfield Beaver. My occupation, I do many things. I'm a carpenter and a mechanic and a problem solver. I am just here to... I am from the United States, from Estados Unidos. This is where I live in California. So I was born and raised in a remote region in Northern California. And where I live now is in the Karuk ancestral territories. And so it is on the Klamath River. Yeah, it's beautiful in the mountains, yeah. For many reasons, I would say primarily it is because I could not tolerate to do nothing. I have followed the conflict in Palestine for a long time and their struggle for liberation. And in the past 2 years to watch this genocide happen, and we knew it was a genocide from the beginning, like it is always, the Zionist project has always been one of genocide. And to watch it play out so viscerally in front of our eyes, and to be able to do nothing, especially as a citizen of the United States, where my government is so complicit, that when I saw the opportunity to join this flotilla and to do something tangible, like with my hands, to assist, it was no question.
Thank you.
I feel an overwhelming like ball of emotions that is very it is very complicated and yeah, I feel a lot of sadness and grief and pain, but also in hope and yeah, some awe at the strength of the struggle and the persistence against such a powerful adversary. And I think I am an optimist, and I believe that in our lifetime Palestine will be free. And it's just there is such a big struggle right now to move into this future. Someone said that the old world is dying and the new one is struggling to be born. And for me, when I hear the word Palestine, this is some of what I feel, is that collectively, as citizens of the world, we have to act with all of our strength and our capacity to assist in the birth of this new world. I was born and raised on a commune, so like a hippie commune, classic California. But so this was my childhood, and so I was raised with a perception of the world that was not typical for America. And as I grew into my adulthood, I came into a collision with the reality of America and of the nature of the empire, and to try to fit together what I was taught to believe as a child with what I was seeing as a reality was they were incompatible, and I think this has shaped my perception of the world and of the place that the United States occupies now as this hegemon. And the necessary injustice that the American empire demands from the world, in Latin America, in Southeast Asia, in the Levant, where we're going now, I don't know how to say it, but it is impossible to ignore the violence of this system. And so for me to oppose this empire and to strive for a different world that we know is possible is it feels so necessary. And example, and I'm sure most people know this who would watch this, is that the U.S. State Department has intentionally crippling sanctions against 30% of the countries in the world, and these are unilateral. And this has become normal, but this is an act of war, and as maybe as a transnationalist, if I can label myself that, we have to oppose this. We have to try to find a different way to live together on this planet. That I feel strongly, and I believe that the world that we want to live in demands action and participation, and the uncertainty of confronting an adversary like Israel is very real. But to do nothing is to accept this kind of impunity and this level of violence that is murderous. It's an unspeakable violence, and I feel like part of the mission in this flotilla is to humanize the victims of this violence. Whereas a lot of the Western world did not seem concerned when 10,000 or 20,000 or 50,000 or 100,000 or 300,000 Palestinians were killed. And so by coming on this mission, by bringing with me the privilege and the visibility that I have as an American, I am bringing the eyes of the world to see the violence that Israel is perpetrating, and I think that the privilege that I have demands this kind of action. Like they say that that like white privilege, like it's not a perfect term, but it describes a thing that someone said was like a debit card that was always being recharged. And so there is a quantity of social capital that is afforded to me that I will always have, and I have to spend. And so though it is uncertain, I think that my family understands that I have to be here, and that the belief in a better world requires a risk and a confrontation with this violence and this machine. And so we are trusting in the support of the world and in the visibility of our media and in the the compassion of our fellow humans to demand that we are treated fairly and if nothing else, that we're not just murdered at sea. I think that though there is a risk, there is some protection in the attention of the world. Yeah. For me, my life has been very, it has not had a lot of direction. I move between professions and between circles of community and influence. But to be here now on this boat, I feel like this is what my whole life has been preparing me to do. And so for me, I feel like the life that I lived before I came here was all preparation for this. And so where I am right now in my life is exactly where I want to be. And it feels like the most comfortable place to be, even on this boat, going towards this uncertainty. But what is demanded of me and what I can offer and what I have practiced in my life is like a glove for this task. And so I feel like where I am right now is on this boat on my way to Gaza. His responsibility, I don't think, is more than Joe Biden's responsibility. I think that the Democrats and the Republicans in U.S. politics are both completely complicit and accepting of genocide. Donald Trump is a terrible human being. I have no regard for him whatsoever. But personally, I don't know that he is a Zionist. I think he is a narcissist. And so in some ways he may be less dangerous for the Palestinians than Joe Biden as a Zionist. And Kamala Harris was asked directly, like, will you do anything different? And she could have said, yes, I will enforce US law, but she didn't. She said, no, I would do nothing different. And so we see that Donald Trump is not uniquely bad for the Palestinians. He is an embodiment of American policy. And he is irrational and chaotic, and for this we can be afraid. But also he is irrational and narcissistic, and so for this we can also be hopeful that he will do something crazy and unlooked for in the other direction. Like, I don't think we can predict his behavior. As American citizens, I think we have a huge obligation to try to stop this genocide and to stop giving Israel all of this political support. I think that Israel exists as long as America allows it to exist, in a way where if we hadn't been airlifting weapons, I think it's something like a delivery of weapons every 15 hours or something crazy like that over the last 2 years. And they've dropped, last I checked, 80,000 tons of munitions on Gaza, which is an incredibly small piece of ground. And this has enabled Israel's impunity. And so we as American citizens, we have to utilize our voice as people and demand accountability for this. And we have to demand that the laws that we have in place be enforced. And like the Leahy law, it says we cannot give military assistance to organizations that are committing human rights violations. It's very clear, and these laws are in place, and they only have to be upheld by our government. And so the American people have to demand accountability from their government, and we have to unify our voices so that we are undeniable. And it is a big task because our democracy is eroded from the inside, and there are many problems with our electoral processes, but we have to try, and it is, I believe, our obligation.
Windfield, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Windfield es un personaje muy particular. Es un hombre discreto, silencioso y con un profundo sentido de humanidad. Y es de esos personajes nada visibles en términos mediáticos dentro de la flotilla, pero es de esos personajes claves en una travesía de esta naturaleza. Este hombre solucionador de problemas, en realidad soluciona problemas, y en el caso de la flotilla, problemas estructurales. Hay embarcaciones que han tenido fallas mecánicas, y cuando una embarcación falla, tiene que parar toda la flotilla para ver cómo se puede ayudar a estos compañeros y compañeras. Y personas como Winfield son enviadas. Llega una pequeña lancha de motor que es enviada por otra de las embarcaciones de la flotilla, o cogen a Winfield, lo llevan a esa embarcación que tiene problemas mecánicos, resuelve el problema y regresa a Ohwayla, a nuestra embarcación. Así de claves e importantes son estos personajes discretos de los que está llena cada una de las embarcaciones de la Global Summit Flotilla.